And are we already, and we're streaming now? Okay.
Yeah, I'll copy.
It is getting started, hasn't quite. And now we're live streaming.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I call this RRTPO, Richmond Regional Transportation Planning Organization Technical Advisory Committee meeting to order. Mr. Parsons, would you please make a statement regarding virtual meetings?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The TPO TAC meets virtually. We have done this since the beginning of the COVID pandemic. We are doing this on a regular basis, and we'll continue to follow this practice until the circumstances require us to be back in person. We use a Zoom webinar platform. Anyone who is attending from the public or outside of the TAC is able to participate using the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. Staff will be monitoring the platform as the meeting progresses, and will be able to share any concerns or questions with the TAC. We do also have a live stream on YouTube, and all of our meetings are archived there. So if there's any need for information that happened at a past meeting, that can be a resource for anyone from the public, as well as our members and staff.
Thank you. Ms. Firestone, would you please call roll?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Town of Ashland, Miss Amos.
Here.
Charles City County, Miss Russell. Mr. Mitchell. Chesterfield County, Miss Smith. Miss Walker.
Here.
Thank you. Goochland County, Mr. Goyne.
Here.
Mr. Coleman.
Here.
Hanover County Vice Chair Vidunas.
Here.
Mr. Flagg. Henrico County Chair Smidler.
Here.
Mr. Yor. New Kent County, Miss Ledoux. We have Miss Ledoux in attendance. I'm not sure if she's having audio problems, but I am going to mark her as being present. Powhatan County, Mr. Chardine. Mr. Chardine is with us, but I have not been able to move him over to panelist, so he is not going to be able to speak until I can work that out. City of Richmond, Miss Clark. Miss Clark. Mr. Bridewell.
Here.
Capital Region Airport Commission, Mr. Rutledge. DRPT, Ms. Dubinsky. Mr. Wagner.
Here.
Thank you. GRTC, Ms. Sink.
Here.
Ms. Robinson. Plan RBA, Mr. Parsons.
Here.
Mr. Ariel.
Present.
Ride Finders, Ms. Tisdale. Mr. O'Keefe. RMTA, Ms. Simmons. VDOT, Ms. McAdory. Ms. Mueller.
Here.
Thank you. That concludes the roll call for attendance, and we do have a quorum.
Thank you.
Janice, I admitted someone on the phone. Can this person identify themselves, please?
That's me.
That's me, you guys. It's Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly.
Uh-huh.
You are muted.
All right. So next on the agenda, are there any amendments to the meeting agenda? Mr. Parsons, do you know of any amendments?
We are not aware of any amendments this morning.
Thank you. So the next on the agenda And Ms. Firestone, if you don't mind sharing your screen, I guess or showing the agenda, that would be helpful. Thank you. So number 2 on the agenda is approval of the June 14th TAC meeting minutes. Would anyone like to make a motion for approval?
I'll move for approval. This is Joe Vidanis.
Any seconds?
I'll second. This is Chessa.
Thank you. Ms. Firestone, would you please do not a roll call, but vote? And I think you're muted.
There we go. Miss Amos,
Aye.
Miss Walker,
Aye.
Mr. Goins,
Aye.
Vice Chair Vidunas,
Aye.
Chair Smidler,
Aye.
Ms. Leduc,
Aye.
Mr. Chardine. Still not going to be able to hear him, unfortunately. Miss Clark. Miss Clark.
She's not here. This is Travis. Aye.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bridewell.
Yeah, here. Aye.
All right. And for DRPT, do we have Ms. Dubinsky? I was going to go back and check after the roll call. I know we have Mr. Wagner. Ms. Dubinsky, are you with us? Okay, I'll call Mr. Wagner for the vote.
Aye.
GRTC, Ms. Sink.
Aye.
Plan RBA, Mr. Parsons.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye. I couldn't hear you, Janice. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. That motion carries.
Great, thank you. Number 3 on the agenda is open public comment period. Ms. Firestone, have we received any comments, or is anyone in the chat?
No, ma'am. We have some people that are viewing virtually, but they have not indicated that they wish to speak.
Okay. We will move on to number 4, the TAC chairman's report. Nothing to report today. Number 5, RRTPO update, Mr. Parsons.
Thank you very much. Before I start, I would like to note that Ms. Dubinsky has joined us, so she's in the meeting now.
Thank you.
The current work efforts are included on page 15 of your packet. I would like to highlight a few things. Our transportation team continues to work with the National Park Service on the Ashland Trolley Line Trail Study. It's an exciting project, and it's a little bit different than the work that we have tended to do. It focuses a lot on history of the Trolley Line Trail, and obviously that's now a segment of the Fall Line. And there's an updated story map that is being developed, and a design sketchbook, which I'd welcome everyone to take a look at. There should be links in the packet. Hopefully those work for you. The CBTA continues to move forward. We are gearing up for our July meeting. Is actually this Friday. It's a little off schedule due to vacations. But this will be the annual business meeting where officers are elected. And I think we'll have some updates on some of the Fall Line activities, some agreements that are being developed and put in front of CTB this month. So we're excited about the CBTA continuing to move forward, and that Plan RVA is able to support that. The bicycle and pedestrian plan was adopted on May 5th. We do have everything that was included as part of that plan in a story map, as well as other interactive mapping. The entire plan is PDF'd on the website, and it's all organized around an information hub which is linked as well in your agenda packet. We continue to work through the Community Transportation Advisory Committee. Ken Lance is leading that effort and has really, if you have not been able to tune in, has really put together a great group of panels every other month of speakers to come in and talk with the CTAC about current things happening around the region, programs that impact the general public as well as our stakeholders. And I'd encourage you to go back to our YouTube channel and take a look at some of those recordings. There's really a lot of great information there that may be useful for your constituents as well. That's it for the current work efforts. I did want to, Janice, I'm going to try and take over. I wanted to share the agenda for the Socioeconomic Data Work Group that is happening tomorrow. Is that visible? Something seems off.
Yes,
Okay, you can see the whole thing?
not the whole thing, but I can see the welcome and introduction 1 through 7 on the agenda. I can see.
Okay, that's it. So tomorrow is the kickoff meeting for the Socioeconomic Data Work Group. Hopefully, folks from everybody's jurisdiction on the call today are attending, and this is kind of kicking off the development of our next long-range plan, which is crazy to say, but this is focusing on the 2050 LRTP. Sulab is leading this effort on the socioeconomic data development, and there'll be a brief overview of what the LRTP is in terms of our 2050 look, as well as an overview of our scenario planning process, which is currently underway. We had to have an RFP out and are reviewing proposals right now, and hope to have a consultant on board over the next month or so to get our scenario planning process off the ground. There'll be a review of what the purpose is for socioeconomic data, how it's useful in developing the long-range plan. And then there's a presentation from Dr. Sen from Weldon Cooper on 2022 population projections. And then the meeting will close with a review of the methodology for coming up with 2050 baseline projections. And if you recall, this is something that every jurisdiction is able to weigh in on. And it's a iterative process where we ask every jurisdiction to be engaged in this and approve and move forward the eventual data that is used for developing the projections for our next long-range plan. Sulab is here. Madam Chair, if it's okay, Sulab, if you have anything else to add, please jump in.
Yes, please do, Sulab.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Chet covered it all, I guess. The only difference this time is that, as I mentioned in my previous briefing as well, that we are not changing the base year, which is still going to be 2017. That's mainly because of COVID implications. And even though the population has no impact of, we can say that there's no impact on population growth because of COVID. But if we have a new base year, let's say 2020 or 2021, there's going to be a lot of employment impact on that. And we don't want to base our long-term projections based on what was impacted by COVID. So that's going to be a special scenario, not the baseline in our long-range plan as well as scenario planning. So that's the only thing I want to mention. But other than that, Chet covered it all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sulab. I see Mr. Shardine had posted in the chat that he's here now. I'm not sure if there's a way to move him over to a panelist. And thank you for the update, Chet and Sulab. I did have 2 comments or questions. The TPO endorsed the Smart Scale applications, and I wanted to inquire when we could get a copy of the endorsement to upload to Smart Portal.
Yes, we have those done. We can, after the meeting this morning, we can send that out to everybody so that you're able to use it as you need, and upload, I guess, upload it yourself. Is that okay?
Yes, that would be,
Okay.
that's exactly what I needed. And
Great.
yeah, so if that could be sent out to TAC, that would be appreciated.
Sure.
The other thing I wanted to, I guess, comment on was I heard at the TPO meeting that Plan RBA has a new location starting in January 2023. And I think I heard the current lease expires October 2022. So did I hear that right, Mr. Parsons, or just wanted to notify TAC in case?
Yes, that is correct. As of last Friday, when Mr. Lumpkins assumed the chair of the TPO last Thursday, we are looking for possible meeting locations for a couple months at the end of this calendar year and possibly January as well. I know that Goochland has stepped up and is looking at a location in eastern part of the county, convenient to 288 and 64. But we would certainly welcome other options as well. I do believe that we will be able to meet here at the current location in October, since we meet at the beginning of the month. But we'll definitely be looking for additional locations in November and December, and most likely January.
Hey, Chet.
But as we get closer to that time, we'll certainly keep everyone up to date on changes in build out and those kinds of details.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a question for you.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. This is Austin with Goochland. So we're working with a hotel to get their large conference room in the eastern end of the county for November 3rd, I think is the date for that meeting. And then Mr. Lumpkins told me that I think it was Chesterfield has already offered a space potentially for December.
Great.
Good to know. I'll have to follow up on that. No problem.
Any questions for Mr. Parsons?
Madam Chair, I do think one additional note that the uncertainty about the move-in date is kind of a moving target. There's permitting issues and backlogs, and we're working with, I mean, the development world right now is crazy, as everybody on here knows. So we are doing our best to navigate those waters, and we do have great guidance in the team that's been put together to help us on the real estate side. So hopefully it'll be January, but we'll play it by ear.
Sounds good. Thanks. Number 6 on the agenda are transportation agency updates. First up is DRPT, Ms. Dubinsky.
Thank you so much. And I apologize for my late arrival, but I knew that Daniel would have me if I needed to have a vote on anything. So I have a very brief update for this month. Just a couple items to remind everyone. We are hosting our transit grant recipient workshops on Thursday, July 28th at 10 a.m. This will be a virtual webinar, so that you'll be able to register and participate. But this webinar we host every spring, usually, or right now summer, after our 6-year improvement program has been approved, to just provide all of our grant recipients, both old and new, about some overview on our grant administration procedures, our grant agreements, as well as any kind of questions about oversight, performance data, and so forth. So this webinar is going to be for transit agencies as well as MPOs. So I encourage everyone to kind of, if you've never been a grant recipient before, or you're curious about some of how our grant administration procedures, I encourage you to apply, register. We also have a separate webinar that we will be hosting for commuter assistance programs. So that is provided, I provided an agency update to Janice for distribution. But you can also find that on the DRPT website. If you have not been to the DRPT website, we did launch a new website and a new branding. So we're really excited. But if there's any feedback or anything that you feel like maybe would make it easier to navigate the website, please let us know as well. Our communications team is constantly modifying things to make sure that it is a big improvement from our last update, our last website. I've been providing monthly updates to our related to our Transit Service Delivery Advisory Committee. They will be meeting virtually on July 29th, hopefully to kind of wrap up things that they've been reviewing for the past few months. So their focus and their charge has been to review our merit capital and operating programs, as well as our transit strategic plan guidelines. So we're about 2/3 of the way there, and we hope that we'll have some resolution at this last meeting. So if you're interested, you can find information to register to watch the live stream on our website as well. I would be remiss if I didn't mention about any kind of assistance related to Smart Scale Round 5. I know a lot of endorsements have already been approved and applications are well underway, but if there are still any remaining questions related to transit or rail applications, please do not hesitate to contact us. We'd be glad to provide any technical assistance. And then last, HJ 542 Transit Equity Modernization Study, we are on the home stretch. So we have currently under review our executive summary and kind of our final report. Hopefully we'll be able to meet the deadline that we had set for ourselves, which is August. And so once that report is out, it'll be available on our website, which is vatransitmodernization.com. And with that, I think that's all I have for my update. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Dubinsky and DRPT? I almost said the wrong acronyms. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Parsons.
Just a reminder, Tiffany, that we would love to schedule a presentation of the modernization study once it's ready to go. We've had it on our future meeting topics for a while, and we're looking forward to hearing all about it.
Of course, I believe that you have in the future meeting topics that, as well as our statewide rail plan, and then a future presentation from VPRA. So I have those noted for kind of scheduling in the future for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And Madam Chair, one other DRPT related item. I think I would be remiss if we didn't, even though she's not here, congratulate Jen DeBrule on being named Director of the Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation in June by Governor Youngkin.
Yes, it is no longer acting. So no more questions about whether it would be temporary. Thank you for mentioning that, Chet.
That's awesome. Congratulations to Jennifer. That's awesome. Thank you for the update. I appreciate that and your support to the team. So now GRTC is next. Sam Sink, would you please provide an update?
Good morning. Perhaps our biggest update is we finally have a construction contractor under contract for the temporary transfer center downtown. The anticipated end date of that construction is May 16th of 2023, and the contractor is J.R. Caskey. On the BRT front, we have the requisition for the North-South BRT study with our procurement department, so hopefully that will be hitting the street soon. We anticipate that that'll be about a 12-month study effort, resulting in a locally preferred alternative. On the transit amenities front, we brought a draft essential transit infrastructure plan, which is kind of what we're calling, benches and trash cans and shelters, to our board back in June. They approved the plan for the FY23 program of work, but they wanted to see a more ambitious goal of having transit infrastructure, this essential infrastructure. Sorry, it's hard not to say amenities when you've been saying amenities your whole career, but to have a plan for, or a goal for essential infrastructure at 75% of GRTC's stops. So we're editing our plan to reflect that newer, more ambitious goal, and we will be bringing it back to our board next week at the board meeting. Those are all the updates I had. Were there any questions?
Hearing none, thanks for the update, Sam. Appreciate it. Next is Ride Finders. Is Mr. O'Keefe on here?
Do not have Mr. O'Keefe with us today. He did provide the update in advance since he knew he would not be here. If you'd like, I can share that.
If you don't mind just showing it on the screen, and just for those who are interested in an update, you can check out page 17 on the agenda for a ride finders update. And if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to Mr. O'Keefe. So next we will move on to VDOT. Ms. Mueller.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I have a lot to share this morning. I'll start with the CTB update. At the June CTB meeting, the board received presentations on the 2021 Transportation Initiative Final Report, the FY 2023 through 2028 Commonwealth Transportation Fund 6-year financial plan, and the FY 23 CTF and VDOT budget, as well as a presentation on the final FY 23 through 28 6-year improvement program. At their action meeting, the CTB approved the fiscal year 2023 CTF budget and the VDOT annual budget. They approved the FY 23 Arlington and Henrico maintenance payments and the payments to cities, certain towns, and Warren County for maintenance to certain roads and streets. They also approved the 6-year improvement program for fiscal years 2023 through 2028, the annual safety performance targets for calendar year 2023, and the 2021 Transportation Initiative Final Report, which includes funding for regional trails to support the planning, development, and construction of multi-use trails. As of this morning, the next CTB meetings are still scheduled for July 19th and July 20th. I have included a link on my update so you can check for any schedule changes. In the past, they have met on the same day, the workshop meeting in the morning and the action meeting following the workshop meeting. Moving on to Smart Scale Round 5, district planning continues to work with applicants on application refinement for final submission. District planning and design and traffic engineering staff is available to review materials for readiness prior to final submission. Final application period is open and is anticipated to close August 1st. That is a Monday. As a reminder, please do not wait until the afternoon of August 1st to submit your applications. We do anticipate heavy portal activity, and that could create delays or technical issues. Certainly hope that won't happen, but better safe than sorry. Moving on to the fall line, VDOT continues to develop the RFP for the northern section design build contract, and we're on track for advertisement by the end of 2022. The VDOT CVTA standard project agreement for the northern section will be taken to the CTB in July, and we anticipate action at the August CTB meeting. Preliminary development of the RFP for the southern section design build contract is underway, and we anticipate advertisement by mid-year of 2023. VDOT stands ready to assist the CVTA Fall Line Work Group in prioritizing the remaining unfunded segments of the trail. Design guidelines. The final draft is under revision based on VDOT and stakeholder input. We anticipate completion by the end of July. This document will be included in the RFP advertisement for all sections of the trail. And then I have some state budget highlights for you this morning. The state budget has been approved by the General Assembly and the Governor. It includes $94 million for regional trails. Likely some of this will support additional fall line trail projects. Additionally, it includes up to $470 million for I-64 gap widening. And the CVTA committed $100 million to the I-64 gap widening at their last meeting. With the General Assembly funding and this commitment, we have a large portion of the required funding, and this project will be moving forward. And I do have two public notices for you this morning. The first one is a willingness to hold a public hearing on traffic signal upgrades in Chesterfield County, and a public notice on through truck traffic restriction for Pleasant Grove Road in Hanover County. And that concludes my update, Madam Chair.
Thank you. One quick question about the Fall Line Trail Design Guide. So it was unclear when comments were due before, so stakeholder comments, I guess, have ended, or they're in the process of addressing those, or if we have any comments, reach out to Tool Design.
That's a good question. I'm actually not sure if it has ended. Feel free to send Liz an email if you have any other comments that you would
Okay.
like to share.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
And Ms. Firestone, I assume after the meeting, VDOT's update will be uploaded to the webpage.
And DRPTs as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions for VDOT?
This is Chessa. Hey, Nicole.
Hey.
I thought I heard you say that that there was something going on the CTV's agenda in August, but I don't think they have an August meeting.
I believe you are correct. The VDOT CVTA has done a project agreement.
September, I think, right?
That would be September. Thanks for the correction. I'll make
That's
that
okay.
correction. Thanks, Chessa.
You're welcome.
I believe it's workshop this month and then on the September agenda for action.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Number 7, future meeting topics. We had 3 items under future meeting topics: DRPT, Virginia Statewide Rail Plan, Scenario Planning, and CVTA project prioritization updates. I think Ms. Dubinsky had mentioned some other future meeting topics that aren't listed on here. Mr. Parsons, were you able to catch what those were to add? Or we can ask Ms. Dubinsky to review.
Yeah, Madam Chair, we do have those. I believe they're on the future meeting topics for the TPO. So we'll sort through and staff can make sure that we have it captured in both places.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other items from TAC members that they would like to see be added to future meeting topics? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, number 8, TAC member comments. Are there any comments? All right, hearing none, the next meeting is scheduled for August 9th, 2022. And Mr. Parsons, I wanted to ask you, is this virtual or in person? I know the TPO had passed something about more in-person meetings, and since we're under the TPO, I wasn't sure when the TAC needed to start meeting in person.
I think until we are instructed otherwise, the TAC can consider continuing to meet virtually. I think one thing to raise is that the TPO canceled their August meeting. So I'm not sure. Staff would love to take a week and look at action items in August and maybe confer with you regarding the need for an August meeting. I'm sure everyone would appreciate a month off, so we can assess and let everybody know. But right now, I think we'll plan on a virtual August 9th meeting.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Keep me posted and we can discuss further.
Great.
If there isn't anything else, which it doesn't sound like there is, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you everyone for joining today.